Chapter 6. The memories of the past few months come flooding back, and Greg decides he needs to find out for sure whether his friend Tom is involved with the KKK. A visit to Tom's is first on the list. As he rides into the well-kept little farm, he wonders why anyone would jeopardize his farm and family to go around terrorizing the neighbors. Tom was always a tough-talking man, but he never was violent. As he approaches the house, Tom comes to the door. "We need to talk. Can you come out here so we can talk in private?" "Give me a minute." "Hey, Lily, I'll be out at the barn if you need me." They settle down on some hay bales and pause as if they don't know where to start. "I want to tell you myself that I've been chosen to replace Sheriff Boswell. He has been a disgrace to the office for long enough, and it's time for him to go. Someone has to reign in the KKK, and after what they did to John, I figured it was up to me." "What happened to John?" "The KKK kidnapped him and left him for dead. I was able to track them down and rescue him before it was too late. But that was the last straw for me." "You didn't know anything about it?" "Of course not. I know you think I'm involved in this, but you have to take my word that I am not. I never do anything to John." "You know that. But why did you brag about being a member if you weren't?" "That was the booze talking. I was just shooting out my mouth." "Well, then I can't count on you to help me get rid of those guys." "You bet it'll be like old times watching your back." "Good. I'll go now and I'll let you know when I figure out a plan to catch them red-handed. See you later." With that, he mounts on his horse and heads for town. Word spreads quickly that the town has a new sheriff. Most of the residents are relieved, but not all feel the same. The wizard is beside himself with anger. It's time to raise the ante and drive out those Negroes and the Negro lovers. The first thing they need to do is show that new smart-mouth sheriff just who's in charge around here. "You guys meet me at sundown, and we will hit him where it hurts." Later that evening, while Greg is meeting with the town council, the KKK members meet on the hill above Greg's farm. They hold off until it is dark, then charge down and into the corrals holding the horses. Gunfire and shouts erupt, sending the horses into a frenzy. They stampede, breaking down the gate and charging blindly into the night. Laughter can be heard as the horses race off through the trees. John is startled from his sleep, confused as to what was going on. Throwing on his clothes, he returns to the corrals. The destroyed corrals lie scattered like a tornado had hit, and the horses are nowhere to be seen. He hears the sounds of horses' hooves as they crest the hill and disappear into the night. This is the work of the KKK, thinks John. They must have heard Greg was made sheriff. It's too late and too dark to find the horses tonight. I'll have to wait until dawn. Greg is going to be really mad. Just as the sun was making an appearance for the day, Greg rides into his barnyard. His breath comes in gasps as he spots the devastation that had previously been his corrals. "What in the world happened here?" John, get out of here." The boy comes from the barn where he was saddling up his horse. "I'm so sorry. It was my responsibility to take care of things and I failed you. I heard the commotion but didn't get out here in time to see who did this. I can imagine it was the KKK since they're the ones causing all the trouble around here. And they're probably mad because you were made sheriff. Get mounted and help me find the horses. What's done is done, so let's not discuss it anymore." They herd for a little meadow not far from the farm, and sure enough the horses were all grazing and relaxed. "Are they all right? I don't see the mare. I'm sure she's not hurt. Her foal is due next spring, and I hate for her to lose it." John circles the herd and answers, "She's back in those trees. It looks like she may have hurt her leg. Be careful, John, don't spook her. See if you can get a rope on her so she doesn't run off." "Got her. I don't know if she can walk, though. Come take a look." Upon closer inspection, they decided she has only sprained her front leg, so they should be able to get her home. "You gather up the rest of them. I'll head her home." Greg starts off slowly to spare her any more pain. The day ends with the horses back in the pasture and the corrals rebuilt. I need to catch up with the tracks they left last night and see which way they headed. I only have a little daylight left, so I'll just come back here tonight. You get supper started and I'll be back soon. Greg mounts his horse and sets off in the direction John has described. Returning from his search, he sits down for supper. You find where they went, Greg? They split up and scattered in all different directions. It was getting too dark to go any further, so I had to quit. Why didn't you get Tom to help you? You cover a lot more ground if you had help. I could go too if you think the farm will be safe to leave unguarded. Oh no, someone has to stay. This time I keep a rifle with you just in case they come back. I'll swing by his place in the morning on the way to town to see if they can spare some time. Morning dawns with mean-looking black clouds appearing on the horizon. Looks like rain on the way, thinks Greg. There won't be any tracks today if rain approaches. As he approaches Tom's place, he spots him out doing the morning chores. Hey Tom, we need to talk. My horses were scattered last night, and the corrals busted them up into kindling. We got back and the corral's fixed, but my brood mare is probably crippled for life. I think it'll be a miracle she can raise a colt next spring. John didn't get to see who did it, but I can guess. Those evil KKK guys are getting back at me for taking the sheriff's job. Can you give me a few hours to see if we can track them down before the rain gets here? Hey, that's too bad your mare was hurt. She's one of the finest brood mares there is in the valley. Of course I'll help. Just let me get my boys to finish up these chores. They find the last of the tracks and they were scattered. Tom went with one set and Greg followed the rest. It was soon evident that the tracks Greg was following headed back to town. Tom disappeared into the trees, following the trail leading into a remote section of the valley. As Greg reached the outskirts of the town, he was sure someone must have been seeing the gang, as it was evident. They rode together from the livery stable. Old Eddie, the owner, was leaning on the doorframe, smoking a foul-smelling cigar. Hey, Sheriff, you're the sheriff, 'cause that's the word around here. Yeah, that's right. I had some trouble out on my last night, and I'm here to find just who's behind it. The track seems to lead right here, so I want to know who rode out last night. How would I help you? I was home at supper time. People could come and go without me knowing it. Sheltered by a thick grove of pine trees, a long abandoned shack stands alone. The porch is leaning precipitously down the hill, and the roof is partially peeled off to one side. Still enough of it stands to provide shelter from the coming storm. The wizard stands at the front of the room, with his men grouped around him. I'm not messing around with these Negro lovers. It's time to show everyone we mean something, business. Tonight we're going to burn out some coloreds and leave a burning cross so they know the KKK is not going to quit until they leave.